Mr. Toastmaster, and my poor hapless listeners. Today, I'm going to be talking about myself, my family, and my history. I come from a family of storytellers. My mother would tell me a story for the first 13 years of my life, a new story every day. And one of the stories that she told, I hated and my brothers loved, is the story of my birth. My mother went through a grueling, painful 72-hour labor before I was born. Consequently, I had an elongated head, as long as my body. My uncle, jokesters that they are, would come and peer at me and say, "Oh, Aimu, you better start saving for her dowry right now, because you'll need money to marry her off." At this point, my brothers would laugh uproariously, and I had to listen to that. And this story was told and retold, much to my chagrin, all throughout my life. Though my parents were fantasy storytellers, they were very conventional people. They wanted us to do well academically, and me as a girl child, I was also supposed to do well in some form of arts, right? Either music or dancing. So they tried. They put me, they hired a piano teacher for me. And the piano teacher would come, and I would be hiding under the cupboard. I hated her, and I hated the piano. It didn't last very long. 3 months later, she died. She was old. Then, much later, I picked up the guitar. And then I would practice every day at 11 in the night, and my neighbor's dog would start howling. And 3 months later, he died. My dog, the neighbor's dog, not the neighbor. Poor guy, stressed. So my parents said, "You and arts don't go well together. Let's stick to the books." And that's what I did. I pretty much was a wallflower, a smart ass, but a wallflower. And I finished my school, my university, good kid. I got my first job. And that's where my adventure begins. I started with a Dutch company, and they would send us to the Netherlands for professional and personal development, according to them. And in that company, I found my mentor. He was my director, and he charted a career path for us, in which, in 3 years' time, I was a project manager. And we would handle multinational projects. Great experience. But after a couple of exhilarating projects, I got bored. So I looked for something else. I started working for a startup firm in California. That was also a great experience. Grueling, 20-hour work days, 7 days a week, was awesome. It had architectural meetings, design meetings, coding, everything you could possibly want as an IT geek. So after that, the company wasn't going anywhere. So I left. I did something else. And that didn't work out, so I was looking for another job, and I landed in Tampa. This was supposed to be a 6-month stint. I'm amazed I'm here after 8 years, but there's a reason why. So Tampa was a culture shock for me. I was, I was always used to a bigger city. I was born in Bombay. I lived near San Francisco. So the big city and the happenings were my life. Tampa was not so happening. And the work life was only 60 hours a day compared to 140 hours. What do you do with all that time? So I took up my master's at USF with the blessings of my director and my tech lead. They had to work around my schedules. And that wasn't enough. So I took up long distance running. That wasn't enough. So I took up meditation. That wasn't enough. I started dating. And I met this wonderful person who was pretty well-rounded. He would come to the opera with me, and we'd get up and go camping the next day. He would be very happy cooking at home and, with a movie. But he'd also be happy clubbing with me the whole night. So we got married after 2 years. Actually, 2 weddings. We got married here and in India. And we had 6 wonderful years of marriage. As you notice here, my professional life has kind of come to a standstill. But we finished our degrees, his PhD, my master's. We traveled to 10 different countries, and we have a wonderful, crazy 3-year-old who now keeps my hands full. Till I wrote all this down, I didn't know how much I had to be thankful for. My friends, my family, my mentors, my acquaintances, and not the least of you all, a dozen of you all listening to me, even my best friend wouldn't do this. Thank you.